We have all heard the whispers. They echo in the quiet moments of the night, in the concerned glances from family, and in the assumptions of strangers. They're the quiet judgments that society passes on those facing financial hardship, a chorus of doubt that can be incredibly isolating. And of course, we have all seen the movies, the dramatic scenes where a family stands on the curb, watching as all their possessions are carried out of their home. The tearful goodbyes to a life that's been shattered in an instant. These portrayals, while making for compelling cinema, paint a picture of absolute devastation, a final, irreversible end. Because of this, the word bankruptcy comes loaded with so much weight, so much shame. It feels heavy on the tongue, a confession of defeat. It's a word we associate with hitting rock bottom, a public declaration of a private struggle. This feeling of shame is a powerful deterrent, often preventing people from seeking help when they need it most. We immediately think of failure, a deep, personal failure. We tell ourselves we should have worked harder, saved more, been smarter. We imagine losing everything we have worked so hard for. The home filled with memories, the car that gets us to work, the small savings we painstakingly put aside for the future. The fear is of being stripped bare, left with nothing to show for years of effort. We envision a life ruined beyond repair, a future permanently stained by this one event. A scarlet letter B branded on our credit report, closing doors to future opportunities and dreams. This image, this narrative of utter ruin, is powerful. It's so powerful that it keeps good, hardworking people trapped in a debilitating cycle of fear and spiraling debt. It's a prison of anxiety, where every ringing phone and every trip to the mailbox brings a fresh wave of panic. You feel like you're drowning, and the shoreline is nowhere in sight. But what if I told you this picture is not the whole truth? That the story sold to us by Hollywood and reinforced by societal stigma is profoundly incomplete. For many, it is not the truth at all. In reality, the legal process of bankruptcy was designed not as a punishment, but as a protection. It's a tool, a lifeline created to help people escape from beneath the crushing weight of debt they can no longer manage. Bankruptcy is not always the end of the story. In fact, it's rarely the final chapter. Sometimes it is the beginning of a brand new one. It's the moment the constant phone calls stop. It's the first night of restful sleep you've had in months. It's the permission you give yourself to finally breathe again. It is a fresh start, a clean slate that you deeply deserve. It's an opportunity to rebuild your financial life on a stronger, more stable foundation, armed with the lessons of the past. So, before we go any further, let's get one thing straight, because it's the most important takeaway from this entire conversation. The idea that bankruptcy is a moral failing, reserved only for people who are irresponsible, reckless, or lazy, is a pervasive and damaging myth. It's a stereotype that simply doesn't hold up to scrutiny when you look at the real reasons people find themselves in this position. The truth is, life happens to all of us. No one is immune to unforeseen circumstances. Financial stability can be far more fragile than we think, often balanced on a knife's edge. A sudden illness or a serious accident can bring a mountain of medical bills, even for those with health insurance. One unexpected diagnosis can lead to tens or even hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt, an amount impossible to pay on an average salary. A painful divorce can split a family's finances overnight. Suddenly, one household becomes two, doubling expenses while income is cut in half. The financial fallout from a separation is one of the most common paths to bankruptcy. A job loss, especially in an uncertain economy, can take away the steady ground from right under your feet. The primary source of income vanishes, but the mortgage, the car payments, and the utility bills do not. These are not signs of personal failure. They are signs of life's inherent unpredictability. They are challenges faced by millions of responsible, hard-working people every single year. Choosing to face that challenge head-on, using the legal tools available to you, is not an act of surrender. It is an act of courage, an act of self-preservation, and the first step toward taking back control of your future. When you hear the word bankruptcy, it can sound intimidating, maybe even like an ending. But in reality, it's the beginning of a new chapter. At its core, Bankruptcy is a legal process, a right established under federal law and overseen by the federal courts. It's not a punishment or a sign of failure. It's a powerful and structured tool designed to provide a second chance. This process is specifically for honest, but unfortunate individuals and businesses who find themselves in a position where they can no longer pay their overwhelming debts. Life is unpredictable. A sudden job loss, a serious medical emergency, a divorce, or a struggling business can quickly spiral into a financial crisis that feels impossible to escape. The weight of mounting bills, the constant calls from collectors, the fear of losing your home or your car, it creates a cycle of stress that can be paralyzing. Bankruptcy exists to break that cycle. Think of it as a formal, structured conversation between you and the people you owe money to, your creditors. But you're not left to navigate this conversation alone. The entire process is supervised by the court, with a judge acting as a neutral referee to make sure everything is fair and follows the established rules. Another key figure is the bankruptcy trustee. This is an impartial official appointed by the court to oversee your case. They review your financial documents, ensure accuracy, and depending on the type of bankruptcy, may manage your assets to pay creditors. Their role is to administer the case according to the law, ensuring a just process for everyone involved. The main purpose of this entire framework is to give you a fresh financial start. It's a reset button. The law recognizes that for our economy and society to thrive, people need a way to recover from financial hardship and become productive members of the community again. This fresh start is typically achieved in one of two ways, depending on your specific circumstances and the type of bankruptcy you file. The first path, often associated with Chapter 7 bankruptcy, involves clearing away certain debts completely. This is called a discharge. It legally eliminates your obligation to pay back unsecured debts like credit card balances, medical bills, and personal loans. For many, this provides a clean slate, freeing them from the crushing weight of past obligations. The second path, common in Chapter 13 bankruptcy, is reorganization. Instead of wiping debts away immediately, this approach involves creating a reasonable and court-approved plan for you to pay back a portion of your debts over a set period, typically 3 to 5 years. This is often a powerful tool for people who have a steady income and want to catch up on missed mortgage or car payments to keep their property. At the end of the successful plan, any remaining eligible debts are discharged. Perhaps the most immediate and powerful benefit of filing for bankruptcy is something called the automatic stay. The moment your case is filed with the court, this legal protection goes into effect. It functions like an invisible, yet legally binding, shield. What it means for you is simple and profound. Peace. Instantaneously, the harassment and pressure stop. The automatic stay is a federal court order that commands your creditors to cease all collection activities against you. This isn't a polite request. It's a legal mandate. Nearly all collection efforts must stop. The relentless phone calls from debt collectors must end. The flood of threatening letters and emails must cease. More than that, it halts more aggressive legal actions. The wage garnishments that may have been taking a significant portion of your paycheck must stop. Creditor lawsuits against you are paused. Foreclosures on your home and repossessions of your vehicles are halted. This protective shield is not a permanent solution in itself, but it is a critical first step. It gives you the invaluable space to breathe, to step back from the crisis, and to regain your footing. It provides the quiet and stability needed to think clearly, and to work with your attorney and the court on a real, long-term solution to your financial challenges, whether that's through liquidation or a structured repayment plan. It's the beginning of taking back control. When the weight of debt becomes overwhelming and you begin to explore your options for relief, you will inevitably hear about bankruptcy. It's a word that can carry a lot of baggage, but at its core, it's a legal tool designed to provide a fresh start. As you delve deeper, you'll discover it's not a one-size-fits-all solution. The U.S. Bankruptcy Code is divided into different sections, known as chapters. While some chapters are designed for municipalities or large corporations, for most individuals and families facing financial hardship, the two most common and accessible paths are Chapter 7 and Chapter 13. Each offers a distinct approach to resolving debt, tailored to different financial situations. Understanding the fundamental differences between these two chapters is the absolute key to determining which, if either, is the right choice for you. This decision will shape your financial life for the next several years, so let's break them down carefully. Let's start with Chapter 7. You'll often hear this referred to as a liquidation or straight bankruptcy. Now, the word liquidation sounds scary, conjuring images of losing everything you own. But for the vast majority of people, this is not the reality. In fact, Chapter 7 is often the quickest and most direct route to a true financial fresh start. To qualify for Chapter 7, you must pass what's known as the means test. This is a formula designed to see if you truly lack the means to repay your debts. The first step is simple. It compares your household's average income over the last 6 months to the median income for a household of your size in your state. If your income is below the median, you generally qualify. If it's higher, you may still qualify after a more detailed calculation that accounts for your specific expenses, like taxes, mortgage payments, and other necessary costs. Once you file, the court appoints a bankruptcy trustee. The trustee's job is to review your financial affairs, primarily what you own, your assets, to see if there is any non-essential, high-value property that can be sold to pay back a portion of what you owe to your creditors. This is the liquidation part, but this is where we introduce the single most important concept in Chapter 7, exemptions. The law does not want to leave you destitute. It specifically protects a certain amount of your property from the trustee and your creditors. These exemptions mean you can almost always keep your essential property. This includes things like equity in your primary home, a vehicle up to a certain value, your clothes, furniture, wedding rings, tools of your trade, and critically, your retirement accounts like a 401k or IRA. It's crucial to know that exemption laws and the value of property you can protect vary significantly by state. Some states are more generous than others. Because of these powerful exemptions, the vast majority of individual Chapter 7 cases are no-asset cases. This means the person filing doesn't have any property with value beyond the exemption limits, so nothing is sold. Most people who file Chapter 7 do not lose any property at all, so if you have a lower income, don't own a lot of non-exempt property, and are drowning in unsecured debt, like credit cards, medical bills, or personal loans, Chapter 7 can be incredibly effective. It can wipe those debts out completely, and the entire process is relatively fast, often concluding in just a few months, giving you that true, unburdened, clean slate to begin rebuilding your financial life. But what if your situation is different? What if you have a steady job but just can't keep up? That brings us to the other main path. Chapter 13. Chapter 13 is often called a wage earner's plan or a reorganization. It's designed for individuals who have a regular source of income but are still struggling to manage their debts. Perhaps you fell behind due to a temporary job loss, illness, or another crisis, and now you just can't seem to catch up. Instead of wiping out debts immediately through liquidation, Chapter 13 allows you to propose a plan to repay some or all of your debt over time. This repayment plan is structured based on what you can realistically afford after covering your necessary living expenses. The plan typically lasts for 3 to 5 years. During this period, you make one consolidated monthly payment to a Chapter 13 trustee. This simplifies your life immensely. No more juggling multiple due dates and minimum payments to different creditors. The trustee then takes your single payment and distributes the funds to your creditors according to the terms of your court-approved plan. So, why choose this longer path? Chapter 13 is incredibly powerful if you're behind on secured debts, like a mortgage or a car loan, and want to keep your property. When you file, an automatic stay immediately stops all collection actions, including foreclosure and repossession. The repayment plan then gives you the chance to catch up on the missed payments over the life of the plan, allowing you to save your home or vehicle. It's also the solution for those who don't qualify for Chapter 7 because their income is too high, or for those who have valuable, non-exempt property they wish to protect from liquidation. You make your payments consistently over the 3 to 5 years, and at the successful completion of the plan, any remaining eligible unsecured debts, like those same credit card balances or medical bills, are typically discharged or wiped away forever. So, to summarize the core difference, Chapter 7 is a quick reset, a liquidation that, for most, results in a swift discharge of unsecured debt with no loss of property. Chapter 13 is a manageable reorganization, a structured repayment plan that allows you to catch up on key debts over time and protect your assets. The choice is not about which one is better, but which one is better for and your unique circumstances. Both are powerful legal tools designed to provide significant relief and give you the chance to move forward, free from the crushing weight of unmanageable debt. Let's talk about the stories we tell ourselves, the fears that hold us back. The myths are powerful. It's time to replace them with truth. Myth: you'll lose everything. Reality: exemptions exist. The law ensures you don't end up with nothing. Essential assets are protected so you can rebuild. Myth: credit is ruined forever. Reality: it recovers over time. Many receive offers within a year or two because lenders know you're debt-free and lower risk. Rebuilding is a marathon, not a sprint. Myth: bankruptcy means moral failure. False. These are stories of resilience. Bankruptcy is a legal provision for such situations. Myth: you must be destitute to file. False. There are income requirements, often more generous than you think. Chapter 13 mainly requires regular income. Do not wait to lose everything. Seeking advice earlier leads to better outcomes. Don't let myths keep you in fear. Get the facts. Sometimes the best way to understand is through someone else's eyes. Let me share a few stories. First, imagine Sarah. Sarah was a devoted nurse. A sudden illness buried her in medical debt. Even with insurance, her share exceeded a year's salary. Collection calls were relentless. Stress hurt her health and work. She felt hopeless. She spoke with a nonprofit counselor, filed Chapter 7, and qualified easily. The process took about 4 months. She kept her condo, her car, and her retirement savings. Her medical debt was discharged. She could look at her paycheck without dread. She started saving again, a cure for her financial sickness. Now, meet David, a construction worker and dad. His hours were cut. He fell behind on his mortgage. Even with a new job, foreclosure had started. He filed Chapter 13. It stopped the foreclosure. A moment of truth. Deciding to explore bankruptcy is personal and not right for everyone. It has long-term consequences, so look at your situation with clarity. Who is this for? Consider it if debt is unmanageable, when numbers don't add up. If payments eat so much income you can't afford rent, utilities, food, major red flag. Facing garnishment, lawsuits, or liens. Bankruptcy can stop the spiral. Constant juggling and high-interest loans signal a debt spiral. If issues are temporary, negotiate forbearance or use a nonprofit DMP. Bankruptcy helps most with unsecured debts, credit cards, medical, personal loans. It generally doesn't wipe recent taxes, child support, alimony, or most student loans. Take inventory of income, expenses, and debt types. That's your first step. Choose the path that truly fits your reality. If this might be your path, getting started can feel overwhelming. Break it into small steps. First, stop, breathe, and gather information. You need the facts. Create a complete, honest picture. Get a notebook. Open a spreadsheet. List everything. List every creditor, how much you owe, and the interest rate. List income and monthly living expenses. Put it all in one place. Then seek good advice, often free with U.S. trustee-approved nonprofits. They'll review your situation, explore options, and give unbiased guidance. That clarity helps you feel less alone. If likely, talk to a bankruptcy attorney. Many offer free consults and explain state laws and next steps. Filing is not the end. It's the beginning of a new story. The real work and opportunity begin after your case. Build a new relationship with money, knowledge, intention, and peace of mind. Your first tool is a budget. Not a punishment, a plan. Tell your money where to go. Track every dollar in and out. Build a small emergency fund. Even $500 to $1,000 can prevent a crisis. It's your safety net. Rebuild credit slowly. Use a secured card with a small deposit. Make planned purchases and pay in full monthly. On-time payments raise your score over time. Live within your means. Find joy in stability. Learn, talk, forgive yourself, and commit to mindful choices. This is your time to rise. We've walked through the myths, the facts, the possibilities. Bankruptcy is a legal right, a structured path to recovery, not a moral judgment. It can stop harassment and eliminate or restructure debt. It gives space to breathe. Think in 4 stages. Stop, learn, act, rebuild. Stop the panic and borrowing cycle. Learn your options. Bankruptcy and alternatives. Act with a clear decision. Rebuild with a budget and savings habit. Your life is more than your debt. Your worth is not your score. If you feel trapped, know there is a way out. Help is available. You have choices. Reach out. That act is profound courage. I am worth more. My family and peace of mind are worth more. Choose hope over fear. Seek answers. You can recover. Close the painful chapter and begin a new one.